Officer Reeves smirked as 16-year-old Zora Jackson claimed her mother was Delta Force. Blood trickled down Zora's handcuffed wrists. All mall security cameras recorded everything. Just as Reeves was about to dismiss her, the glass door slid open. Colonel Vanessa Jackson, Zora's mother, entered wearing civilian clothes but radiating lethal authority. This was a day Reeves would regret for years. The sunny Saturday at Westfield Mall in suburban Atlanta had started normally for Zora Manning, an AP student with dreams of becoming a medical researcher. She was at the Electromax store, gathering electronic components for a science project on solar energy conversion. As she browsed, she was followed by a suspicious clerk, a middle-aged white man who repeatedly asked if she intended to buy anything. A commotion erupted near the smartphone display when a well-dressed woman, Karen Thompson, shrieked, "My phone is gone. It cost $2,000. Her gaze locked onto Zora. It was her. She's been lurking around here for 20 minutes. Without hesitation, the store manager, Garrett Wilson, materialized and nodded sympathetically to Karen. Two security guards, Brad Reynolds and Tyson Meyer, appeared and grabbed Zora, their grip painful. Zora calmly tried to explain she was there for a school project and offered to let them check her bags, but the guards ignored her. They marched her through the mall, and the humiliation burned hotter than the physical pain. They brought her to a small security office where Officer James Reeves of the Atlanta Police Department was waiting. He casually assessed her with cold blue eyes as the store manager, Garrett Wilson, explained, "Caught this one stealing a customer's phone." Zora tried to speak again. "Sir, I did not steal anything. I'm an AP student at Westwood High. I was buying parts for my science project. You can call my teacher, Mr. Harrington, to verify my assignment." Reeves ignored her, telling her to empty her pockets and bag. He roughly dumped the contents, scattering her school notebooks, project components, and her wallet, which held her perfect attendance certificate and student ID. Finding no phone, his eyes narrowed. "Where'd you hide it?" he demanded. Zora maintained her composure. "I didn't take any phone. There's no evidence because I didn't do anything wrong. There should be security footage you can check." Karen Thompson snorted. "She probably has an accomplice. These people always work in groups." The casual racism hung in the air, unchallenged. Without warning, Reeves pulled out his handcuffs. "Until we sort this out, you're being detained on suspicion of theft." The cold metal bit into Zora's wrist, cutting her skin. When she said they were too tight, Reeves ignored her completely. "I'd like to call my mother now," Zora said, centering herself. "It's my right to make a phone call." Reeves smirked. "And who's your mother? Someone important?" Zora met his gaze steadily. "My mother is Colonel Vanessa Manning. She serves with the Special Forces at the Pentagon." The room erupted in mocking laughter. "Right," Reeves sneered. "Listen, girl, making up stories about your family won't help your situation." His emphasis on your family carried unmistakable racial undertones. "People like you always think you can talk your way out of trouble, but I've been doing this job 20 years. I know your kind." Stunned by the blatant prejudice, Zora said nothing. Reeves unlocked her phone and handed it to her, clearly expecting the call to expose another lie. With dignity despite her bleeding wrist, Zora recited her mother's number. She knew exactly what was coming. At the Pentagon, Colonel Vanessa Manning sat perfectly straight in her chair during a secure briefing. She was the first Black woman ever accepted into Delta Force, her career defined by defying expectations and breaking barriers. The secure phone in her pocket vibrated. While she usually ignored it during high-level briefings, a mother's instinct made her check. Seeing Zora's number, she excused herself from the four-star generals. "Zora, what's wrong?" she answered, her voice instantly shifting from commander to mother. "Mom, I'm being detained at Westfield Mall security office. Someone accused me of stealing their phone. I'm handcuffed and they won't check the security footage. They're laughing at me for telling them who you are. Vanessa's mind processed this information with battlefield efficiency. Are you hurt? She asked sharply. The handcuffs are too tight. They're cutting my wrists, and everyone here is making assumptions based on how I look. In that moment, Vanessa felt the familiar double burden she'd carried throughout her career. I'm coming. Stay calm. Give them nothing. I'll be there in 30 minutes. She re-entered the briefing room to excuse herself. Without waiting for responses, she purposefully strolled toward her office, already making calls. First, to her commanding officer, General Marcus Hayes, for emergency leave and support. Hayes, who had served alongside her in 3 combat zones, didn't hesitate. Go, take whatever resources you need. Keep me updated. Next, she called Major Terrence Williams, a JAG Corps attorney and friend. Terrence, Zora is being held at Westfield's mall security office. Racial profiling situation. Meet me there ASAP with whatever legal documents you need to shut it down. Her final call was to Captain Elena Rodriguez, militia police. Elena, I need you at Westfield Mall security office. Bring a medical kit. They have my daughter in excessively tight handcuffs. She changed into civilian clothes, choosing an outfit that wouldn't immediately reveal her military status. During the 28-minute drive, she mentally calculated routes like a tactical mission. She recalled teaching Zora at age 7 how to respond if stopped by police. Keep your hands visible. Speak respectfully, but know your rights. Don't make sudden movements. 20 minutes after receiving the call, Vanessa pulled into the mall parking lot. She texted her team their precise rendezvous points, then called her attorney again. I'm going in first. Give me 5 minutes, then follow in. I want to see how they behave when they think I'm just another black mother. She walked into the mall with the focused intensity of a soldier entering enemy territory. The security office door was closed but unlocked. She opened it and stepped inside, instantly absorbing every detail. Zora sat handcuffed to a chair, blood visible on her wrists, while Officer Reeves stood over her with a posture of contempt. The store manager hovered nearby, while the well-dressed accuser, Karen Thompson, scrolled through her phone. I'm Vanessa Manning, Zora's mother, she stated, her voice carrying the same tone she used to brief Pentagon officials. I want those handcuffs removed from my daughter immediately. Reeves barely glanced up, his attitude dismissive. Ma'am, your daughter is being detained for a theft investigation. We'll handle the cuffs when we're finished questioning her. Officer Reeves, Vanessa replied deliberately, my daughter has visible injuries from improperly applied restraints. You have no evidence of any crime, have denied her due process, and are currently violating department regulations regarding the detainment of minors. The precision of her knowledge caused Reeves to look up, reassessing her with narrowed eyes. And how exactly would you know department regulations? He asked. Without answering, Vanessa reached into her pocket and placed her military ID on the table. Colonel Vanessa Manning, United States Army Special Forces, currently stationed at the Pentagon with Level 8 security clearance. Now, remove those handcuffs from my daughter before this escalates beyond your control. The younger of the 2 security guards, Brad Reynolds, stepped forward and addressed the police chief. Sir, I feel I should say something. We've been instructed by management to pay special attention to certain types of shoppers. When the manager, Garrett Wilson, sputtered a denial, Brad pulled out his phone. I recorded our last staff meeting because I was uncomfortable with the directives. He handed the phone to Chief Garcia, who listened with a deepening frown. At that moment, a woman in an expensive suit entered, introducing herself as Jennifer Haynes, General Counsel for the mall's parent company. She immediately shifted to damage control. On behalf of Westfield Properties, I want to express our deepest apologies. We would like to offer an immediate settlement to avoid unnecessary litigation. Vanessa regarded her coolly. Miss Haynes, this isn't about money. This is about a systemic issue that settlement checks conveniently bury. How many other families without Pentagon connections have endured similar treatment? Zora, who had remained dignified despite the ordeal, suddenly pointed at the security monitor. Mom, look at that. Everyone turned to see the live footage showing store manager Wilson frantically typing commands into the store's computer system. He was attempting to delete security footage. Major Williams immediately got on his phone. Emergency court order to preserve all electronic records just delivered to Westfield Mall servers. Any deletions now constitute federal evidence tampering. Wilson's computer screen froze, displaying a message, "System locked by judicial order." As if the situation couldn't grow more chaotic, Karen Thompson's husband, Richard, arrived. "I'm Richard Thompson of Thompson, Blackwell, and Price. This detention is unlawful and we'll be filing countercharges for defamation and harassment." Police Chief Garcia regarded him calmly. "Mr. Thompson, your wife was recorded planting evidence to falsely accuse a minor. I suggest you consider your next words very carefully." The medical technician who had arrived with the police chief confirmed Zora was showing signs of shock. Colonel Manning, torn between her two priorities, immediately chose her daughter's well-being. "We need an ambulance," she stated firmly. As the ambulance was called, mall owner Frederick Jenkins arrived, concerned about the growing media presence. He also tried to offer compensation for the inconvenience, but Vanessa cut him off. "Inconvenience? Is that what you call false imprisonment and physical injury to a minor?" Meanwhile, Richard Thompson made one last attempt to wield his influence. "I've spoken with Judge Hamilton, who happens to be a personal friend. This entire situation is being blown out of proportion." Major Williams smiled thinly. "Mr. Thompson, attempting to use personal connections to influence an active investigation could be construed as obstruction of justice. As for the footage, it's already been transmitted to secure military and police servers as evidence." The story had now gone viral, trending nationally under #JusticeForZora. The crowd outside the mall grew, and local civil rights leaders had arrived. Inside the security office, Officer Reeves, seeing his world crumbling, made a final desperate move. "Colonel Manning, you're interfering with police business. I'm placing you under arrest." He moved toward Vanessa with handcuffs drawn. The room froze in disbelief at Officer Reeves' staggering miscalculation. Before he could take another step, Chief Garcia stepped between them, his voice deadly quiet. "Officer Reeves, stand down immediately. Your badge and weapon, please." He blinked in shock. "What? You can't." "I can and I am. You're suspended effective immediately pending investigation for excessive use of force, failure to follow department procedures, and falsifying equipment reports." He handed the hand out, and Reeves slowly, reluctantly surrendered his gun and badge, his face contorted with rage. Meanwhile, one of the security guards, Brad Reynolds, spoke up, his voice shaking. "We were instructed specifically to target certain shoppers based on racial profiles. Manager Wilson told us to watch for urban youth who didn't look like they could afford to shop here." Wilson sputtered in denial, but he was interrupted by several Electromax employees who confirmed the discriminatory directives. One young woman said, "I have emails proving it." As the ambulance team arrived, Zora reached for her mother's hand. "Mom, this isn't just about me. We need to make sure this stops happening to everyone." Vanessa squeezed her daughter's hand, immensely proud of her courage. "We will," she promised. "This ends now." At the hospital, Dr. Williams, a middle-aged Black woman, carefully cleaned the cuts on Zora's wrists. These lacerations are consistent with restraints applied with excessive force. There's tissue damage that will leave scarring. Dr. Williams recognized Zora as a star science student, a brief moment of recognition that visibly strengthened the teenager. Later, a police detective came to take Zora's official statement. With remarkable clarity, Zora recounted every detail, including Officer Reeves' comment about "your kind." As she spoke, a hospital administrator nervously announced that the lobby was filling with reporters and Officer Reeves' police union representative was demanding to speak with Colonel Manning. Vanessa asked Zora, "Are you absolutely certain you want to pursue this? We could still accept a private settlement and protect your privacy." Zora met her mother's gaze with unwavering determination. "Mom, you always taught me that real change doesn't come from staying comfortable. How many other kids has this happened to who didn't have a mother in special forces?" Vanessa made a call to her commanding officer, General Hayes. "The situation has escalated. Local media is involved, and there's evidence of systematic discrimination at multiple levels." Hayes's response was immediate and firm. "This crosses into potential civil rights violations. I'm authorizing full support from our legal team and opening an official military investigation into the treatment of a dependent of military personnel." This transformed the case into a federal issue with significant resources. Meanwhile, the mall owner fired the manager, Garrett Wilson, and corporate headquarters for Electromax issued a statement distancing themselves from the local store's actions. Hashtag Justice for Zora was trending nationally. When Zora was discharged from the hospital, she was greeted by her AP chemistry teacher, Mr. Harrington, who explained that her classmates had gathered her project supplies. This small act of solidarity brought the first tears Zora had allowed herself all day. The following morning, a prominent civil rights attorney, Elaine Washington, offered to represent Zora pro bono. She explained that Zora's case had the potential to create meaningful legal precedent. When Vanessa mentioned the possibility of a private settlement to protect Zora's privacy, Washington responded, "Colonel, your daughter understands something many adults never grasp, that individual compensation without systemic change perpetuates the problem for others who follow." Zora, looking down at her bandaged wrists, nodded in agreement. "She's right, Mom. If we settle quietly, nothing changes. Karen Thompson will find another target. Officer Reeves will get his badge back. The store will create better ways to hide their discrimination." Vanessa and Zora's decision to fight for systemic change set off a chain reaction of opposition. The police union hired a crisis management firm, and anonymous sources began to circulate false stories questioning Zora's character. Karen Thompson used her law firm's advertising budget to influence local news outlets, and an email from Vanessa's commanding officer suggested that the high-profile nature of the case was creating unnecessary tensions between the military and local police. Zora faced her own challenges upon returning to school. While some teachers and students offered support, others maintained a noticeable distance. The most personal blow came when the prestigious Brenner Science Scholarship Committee, which had been Zora's path to her dream universities, deferred her application for a character review. The pressure intensified. An unmarked envelope arrived at their home with printed screenshots of racist social media posts and veiled threats. Vanessa immediately contacted security personnel from her unit, who arrived within hours to install protective measures. "This is a standard intimidation strategy," Captain Rodriguez explained. "They're hoping you'll decide it's not worth the trouble." The coordinated resistance continued to escalate. Karen Thompson gave a tearful interview, portraying herself as a victim, and the store's security footage mysteriously developed corruption issues in the critical segments. Fortunately, Captain Rodriguez had already secured multiple backup copies. The most disturbing escalation came when Vanessa and Zora returned to home to find their front door spray painted with racist slurs and threats. The violation of their personal space struck deeper than any media manipulation or professional pressure. That night, as they cleaned the vandalism together, Zora finally allowed herself a moment of vulnerability. "Mom, is this worth it? Maybe we should just take the settlement." That's exactly what they want. For good people to decide justice is too expensive, too troublesome to pursue. This happens because they're afraid of what happens when people like us refuse to be silenced. Zora nodded slowly, remembering her mother's words about necessary trouble. That night, they made their decision. They would not be silenced. The following morning, An unexpected sight greeted them. A group of veterans from various military branches had formed a protective perimeter around their home, cleaning the remaining vandalism and standing guard. This act of solidarity was the beginning of a powerful,